Alright, here is some Jungle Gym progress on January 12th. I made a new little testing area. It's been really useful in just testing platforming stuff. The main thing I've been working on was, of course, the ledges, but also the camera system. I've been trying to make it better because it's been bad for quite a while now. And it's starting to make some huge improvements. I still have a lot to do. I redid the entire cam zone system. I'll go through and show off what some of the functionality for these are, uh, as well as just like showing off progress on the actual camera. I've also worked on a couple movement things to make them better. I still have a couple more movement things I want to tweak up, but it's really getting there. So these cam zones I can place around the level to determine the rules for the player's camera. So this auto pivot that turns as the player walks left and right, that can be disabled. This is an important one too because the auto pivot needs to be turned off for some platforming sections because it can be real annoying. And this is just so you can control if the player can move the camera in the X and Y directions, and you can turn them both off at the same time if you want to. All of these can be merged together. This just centers the camera view, and you can also change the interpolation for the actual rotation. I have it pretty quick here right now. That's useful for like tunnels, and it also works both ways instead of just one direction. This will just lock the camera's position. Maybe if you have like a little side room. And that is what happens when, good lord, when you accidentally jump in the center view with the lock position at the same time. So I will not do that. You can change the spring arm's length. Just give it some additional or reduce length if you would rather. And this also comes with interpolation speeds, which is useful. I also made it so pressing R3 will toggle between 3 different zooms. Kind of glitches a little bit when you first press it. That's actually new. I think that might be from the other camera stuff I've been working on, interfering with that. Collision change, basically if you're in this zone, this wall will no longer collide with the camera, but if you leave the zone, it will collide with the camera. So for some of the actual camera stuff I've been working on, the best place to show it off would be here. Before, I've had issues where I've just had like the default spring arm where if it hits this corner, it would zoom the camera in like this. But you know, AAA 3D platformers don't do that because it gets really annoying to navigate when the camera keeps clipping on the walls. So I have made a system where instead of having the spring arm, it's based on if the camera itself collides with the wall. And once it uses it like it's a ray cast, just like the normal, until the camera is no longer doing it, and it will zoom out like that, which is super clean. The zooming out I'm still working on because it does not work unless the camera moves slow. If I do it quick, oh shit, it worked that time. Huh. What? This was not working earlier. You're kidding. Okay, it's definitely still broken. It's just working now. That is sick. I love that. Holy crap. That's awesome. I can show it off with the mouse. If I pick up the mouse instead of the controller. What? Okay, now it's working. Or now it's not working. I was about to say, if it was fully functional and I did nothing to change it, that would be crazy. But it's so much smoother. Something that needs to be added because of this is having a silhouette of the player through the wall so they can still see where they are. And similar to that, also if the player is up close, the model needs to fade away so that they can see through it. You can also go inside the player, which is not intended. That little cube following him too, that would usually be invisible. That's just the target for the camera. Now things like crawling under spaces is possible without the camera being annoying. Unless you do this, of course, in which case the camera will act normal until it leaves. And that's mostly what I've been working on, besides just making a fun little testing environment to test movement. So I love this so much. I think another thing I might add is I didn't add it initially because I didn't think it'd be necessary, but the butt bounce jump, like Mario Games has, ground pound jump. And the reason I'm thinking of adding that at some point is because I notice when I'm hopping around and sliding, a lot of times I would like to, in the middle of a slide, ground pound and then jump to get some height. And that would be extremely smooth with the sliding mechanic. Right now, all we have is the backflip and the side somersault. I think the ground pound, I can just literally copy the backflip code and just use that for the most part. So it would be really easy to put in. And I don't know if I showed the ledges off too much, but the ledges are functional pretty well too. They're kind of finicky if you don't place them exactly positioned correctly. But that's just something we have to be careful with level design. Like this, that one was finicky right there. Since it's a spline, sometimes the spline goes inside walls, stuff like that. But yeah, that is the current state of Jungle Gym. Oh, I also, in the upper left corner, there's red text where that placeholder sort of UI is from class. It shows what the current animation would be. So using that enumerator when we have the animation set, it should be so much easier to actually hook it up to a state machine since I have the enums already working. I think there's only like one or two that don't work right now. Oh shit, that's also a bug I forgot that I need to fix. This walking off ledges to grab it no longer works. Damn. I still have so much to do, but there's been a lot of progress. So yeah,